Greetings once again, pirates on the high seas. Duuz-Diz-Din back at it again with One Piece. Previously, Sentomaru advised the Fabriophase residents to evacuate, thinking that a similar Ohara incident would happen right here. We had Luffy, Lucci, Zoro, and Kaku facing off against S-Bear and S-Hawk, with Zoro finally realizing that the Seraphim had similar traits to King, with Shaka confirming this. But afterwards, Shaka clued in on where Vegapunk might have been, heading to the basement level and finding Vegapunk along with the other Cypher Pole agent, only for him to be gunned down by an unknown assailant. Meanwhile, Nami, Brook, and Edison were facing off against S-Shark, with Edison being taken down, Brook temporarily incapacitated, and Nami struggling to fight against a child, even if he was trying to kill her, only for Zoro to join the battle, to protect Nami at all costs, even going so far as to unconsciously activate his Germa DNA. The eyebrows have swirled to the six. Meanwhile, Lilith, Usopp, Frankie, and Pythagoras were going up against S-Snake, and despite Lilith having her bubble launcher containing the power of the sea, which could incapacitate S-Snake because, devil fruit lineage, even if it's just the DNA, it's still devil fruit abilities. But because of S-Snake's speed as well as her cuteness, she was able to half-freeze Frankie and Stone and completely freeze Lilith and Usopp. Although Pythagoras kind of disappeared from the action. I don't know. But the unknown figure who took down Shaka approaches Vegapunk. Are we finally going to have it revealed who has been the mastermind behind all of this? Join me as I find out, won't you? Alright, One Piece, chapter 1078. Escape Limit. Germa 66's An Emotionless Excursion, volume 33. The formation of Neomads. Oh, wow. So Caesar has joined hands with Judge. Geez, their destructive power has essentially been doubled. And this is kind of Caesar's get-out-of-jail-free card. He had nowhere to go, so might as well team up with a person who has an entire kingdom. I love Reiju and Ichiji just walking away like, went through all this effort, and that's the only thing he cares about, of course. Oh god, this is a match made in hell. Alright, we pick up at the laboratory, Future Island Egghead, where Sentomaru's been radioed to, saying, "Old man Kizaru." We then cut to the second floor of Building B, with Stussy talking to Sentomaru saying, "That's right. CP0's mission is to eliminate Dr. Vegapunk and wait for Kizaru to arrive." Sentomaru says, "The government sounds hell-bent on this plan." Stussy says, "Indeed. They must see this as an event, an even graver set of circumstances than Ohara. For one, Dr. Vegapunk has picked up and continued the forbidden research that doomed Ohara. And two, Egghead has military power that Ohara did not." That's a good point. So we see Stussy and Jinbei using their Dom shoes to speed through the halls. I wonder if that gave Sanji some added speed, or if that was all just his own power. Sentomaru says, "Enough reason for them to send an unexpected amount of force." Stussy says, "Just call me directly if something happens. The Labriophage's communication systems are all down." We then cut over to the Fabriophage with Sentomaru and the people. He says, "You heard all that. You want to know what the Navy's going to do here? Look at history. You don't have time to sit on your hands, people. Everyone onto the ships. We gotta evacuate the island." Yeah, the people are running for their lives. Before the Navy gets here, everybody do what Sentomaru says. Bail, bail, bail. We then cut over to the third floor of Building C in the laboratory. Frankie, half frozen, says, "Usopp, Lilith, why you snotty little brat?" He's just swinging his one free arm desperately. He says, "Undo the petrification right now. I may have gotten sloppy and lost my right side, but I still got my left. If you surrender now, I'll go easy on you." Oh god. Oh, S-Snake then notices Pythagoras. I guess he was trying to make a break for it. She goes walking over to him. As Pythagoras says, "Why have you done this, S-Snake? Who ordered you to?" And without saying a word, S-Snake just lifts up her foot and brings it down on Pythagoras with a crunch. Frankie calls out to Pythagoras and he explodes? Did Pythagoras explode? Or how? What happened? Why would he explode? As Frankie shields himself from the explosion, he says, no, wait, hey, stop. I guess that snake's about to go in on Usopp and Lilith. Jeez. We then cut to the second floor of Building A, with Atlas, Robin, and Chopper also using their Dom shoes to make their way quickly through the building. Atlas says, oh no, I think it's Chopper who says, I hope everyone's alright. I keep hearing explosions and screams. Robin says, we know for sure that the Seraphim are fighting. While Atlas gets mad saying, God, I just don't get why. Robin says, well, if Nami screams, we know there's someone who will be there in a heartbeat. I love that. Chopper says, knowing exactly what it is. Robin then says, any team currently fighting will be locked in combat. So while everyone is busy battling it out, something could be happening to Vegapunk in the meantime. Chopper says, that's a good point. Atlas says, that reminds me, there's one lab that we used in the past, but that's been locked up for a while. I don't know why he might want to visit such a place, but... Okay, so even Atlas clued in on it. So it's more than just Shaka who would realize after a certain point. Robin says, let's go take a look then. Lead the way, Atlas. Atlas says, you got it. We then cut over to the third floor of Building A with Nami's group. Nami picks up Edison's body saying, hang in there, Edison. While Brook goes into his ghostly form, leaving his body saying, tell you what, I'll go search for Vegapunk. You're like, yeah, that's like the best way to go about this. But then he notices Sanji fighting S-Shark and says, huh? Sanji! And Sanji takes a full-on smack to the face from S-Shark. And he just tanks it with his arms folded, saying, what would you know about the power of love? Like, Sanji? Are you okay there, buddy? But damn, just tanking that hit. Jeez. We then cut to the fourth floor of Building A with Luffy's group, where Zoro and Luffy are really getting tired taking on the Seraphim. Zoro's huffing and puffing saying, damn it, they just won't disappear. Those flames on their back are stubborn. While Luffy questions this, oh no, he notices something is up, saying, the flames won't disappear, but Hawkeye's sure did. Zoro says, where did he go? Jeez, how did you guys miss him? Lucci says he changed his assassination priority. He'll leave the troublesome targets for later and start with the weakest instead. And if they happen to be comrades, it will have the benefit of rattling the stronger targets. Damn. Damn, Lucci knows what's up. Zoro goes racing off saying, don't worry, I'll go after him. Luffy then turns to Kaku and says, you have to go with him, Usopp. He's gonna get lost right away. Calling him Usopp because of the nose. Kaku says, what am I, an errand boy? But he does just that and says, wait for me, Roronoa. And as Luffy prepares an attack going gum gum, Kaku catches on that Luffy called him Usopp, saying, wait, what did you call me? As Luffy goes in with Hawk gattling against S-Bear, saying, go out already, stupid fire. But Lucci calls to him, use your head, Straw Hat. You're never going to beat him fighting that way. We then have the narrator coming on as we pick up with Bonnie, who's immersed herself in Kuma's memory, saying, this has been a record of the events before the day of the famous Egghead incident, but its course was set in motion 3 months prior. Really? 3 months ago, on Sacred Mary Joa, a person saying, I'm calling from Egghead. I want to speak to the ones in charge. Dr. Vegapunk is studying the Void Century. Oh, so it was one of the... Why? Why would one of the satellites do this? And we see CP5 visiting Vegapunk and Shaka while Lilith is threatening one of the agents in the background. CP5 was dispatched to ascertain the truth, but found no evidence. Their ship mysteriously vanished after leaving Egghead. Subsequently, agents were sent from CP7, then CP8, but none of them returned to the government. And then the person comes on again saying, this is Egghead. I want to speak to the ones in charge. We then see the Gorosei meeting. After a discussion between the 5 elders and an unknown figure, the genius scientist's betrayal had been made clear. The elders made the call to have Dr. Vegapunk assassinate. Cypherpole Aegis Zero undertook the mission, but anticipating a counterattack by Vegapunk, the elders chose to make a visit in person, with Admiral Kizaru as protection. Reinforcements were requested from naval bases far and wide. The deployment made it clear that they were expecting war. Yeah, several vice admirals coming in too. And into that situation sailed the ship of Straw Hat Luffy, Emperor of the Sea. The arrival of this unexpected variable unsettled the government to say the least. And you have Akainu saying, "What? Straw Hat?" And one of the others saying, "Not again." Then the narrator says, "But regardless, the resolution of this incident the following day would inflict a kind of shock the world never saw coming." Jeez, way to pump it up. We then pick up with Vegapunk in the pod as the Cypherpole agents discuss amongst themselves as Vegapunk calls out to the unknown figure, "Hey, was this all you're doing?" Nashaka lies on the ground, his head smoking from the gunshot. Vegapunk calls out, "Answer me!" The figure then... Oh, this is a big... No, wait, big figure. The figure enters Vegapunk's cell as Vegapunk says, "Why would you do this?" "No fucking way." Holy shit. But why? It's York, who bends down and says, "Hey Stella, you know what? I'm gonna be a celestial dragon." Huh, really? Vegapunk is shocked saying, "What nonsense is this, York? You went to Maryjoy years ago, and you really want to be one of those ghastly, horrid people?" York laughs, saying, "Hee, just what Shaka would say, if he weren't dead already." It's so complicated when everyone is Vegapunk. The world only needs one Dr. Vegapunk. Gee. Wow, some people called it really early, too. Thinking about it now, York has been described not as the needs of Vegapunk, but the greed of Vegapunk. I guess that was the clue. Yes, Lilith is the evil, but it's the necessary evil. But York is the greed of Vegapunk. And Vegapunk is always... His various aspects are talking about resources, and though they never have enough of certain things. But who has enough of everything? The Celestial Dragon. But I feel like York was short-sighted in all of this. I'm actually kind of disappointed that it was York all along. And of course it was the first one to be majorly taken out of the picture. Dang. It's the classic murder mystery. Technically the first person taken out, more or less, was kind of Atlas, but by the Seraphim, who are the smoking gun, York was the first one technically taken out. They went after Pythagoras, but they only got his body, not his head. Man, are we really gonna come away from this with all of the satellites dying? Because it looks like Shaka's down out completely, though might have just grazed his head, more or less. But Pythagoras, he's only a head, so it's like, how does he survive that? Man, gee. The greed wants it all, and would even betray their maker to have it all. I'm at a bit of a loss on this one, And I couldn't see York actually being made a celestial dragon at the end of all of this either. And apparently the Egghead incident. And what's gonna happen? One Piece has shown us multiple times that a lot can happen over the course of a day whenever they reach an island. You got Zoru and Kaku chasing after S-Hawk, and Lucci said he'd be going after one of the weakest. So who would S-Hawk deem the weakest? It'd probably be the vulnerable Frankie, Lilith, and Usopp. And Luffy's still having a tough time against S-Bear. And what is Bonnie seeing? Dang. And Sanji, whatever's happening with him, it's kind of wild. But Atlas, Robin, and Chopper are headed for the basement too. Then there's Frankie, Usopp, and Lilith. Are they gonna be okay? And not to mention, with all the people fleeing, what happens if they get intercepted while they're headed out? Really might be Ohara all over again. And Neomads too. Jeez, all they need is Queen. I wonder. Well, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Did you see this turn coming? Did you predict York from the beginning? I will admit, I was kind of thinking it was going to be Shaka. For a hot minute, I thought it was going to be Shaka. But everyone came up with these really good arguments for pretty much all of them. I think the only one who seemed to be the least suspect was kind of Lilith, because it felt like the obvious one. I don't know. Oda really did have some great misdirects. It wasn't as hard-hitting as Kanjuro's reveal, because we had been with Kanjuro for arcs. Like, just from Dressrosa to Zoe to most of Wano. And to have that reveal, it's just like, what? But this is more of a Rob Lucci kind of situation where it's just like, but you knew. But it's lesser because you knew it had to be one of the satellites because there was nobody else. So the weakest of the reveals, but it's still like, Holy crap. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss out on more One Piece. And until then, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.